I can't tell you how many times I quit for 3 seconds in my head, and I never make it to 5. I do not allow myself to get past 5 seconds because I say I have to be in control of that thought. This sucks. I want to stop. Keep going. The only way is through. Go. Just go.
Just go.
Don't be
Don't
indecisive.
think,
Don't sit there and think about it. You know, if you're having a hard situation in life, you sit there and think about it. All you're doing is expanding the problem. Just go. What's the next step? One step in front of the other, and that's it. Don't worry about the end. Worry about the next step. Can't see the forest through the trees? You can see the next step, though. That's all you need to see.
Go to the next tree.
Yep, that's it.
I'd rather be sidelined trying to achieve greatness than watch greatness achieved and it only set on the sideline. Now introducing your host, Jacob Emery.
This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by Unlocking Greatness with Jacob Emery, a coaching community built for those ready to become the strongest version of themselves. Weekly calls, proven playbooks, and a community built to grow. Greatness is not given, it's unlocked. Join us today at jacobemery.com or DM coach at jacobemery44 on all social media platforms. Welcome back to another edition of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast. Today's guest is a fellow pipeliner. It is someone that I met because of what we do, and he is on the show today because of who he is and who I am. And we could not be more similar in our interests, in our past, in our stories. Mike Pence, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good to be here, man.
Me and Mike have been BSing for like the last hour. I kept saying, yeah, we're going to get started. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then we just kept on going. So you guys might see some highlights of that, might not, but you missed out nonetheless. Mike, today, I want this message to hit everyone right square in the teeth, right in the mouth. The pipeline world, you know, natural gas distribution is our niche. You guys and your business, you have a huge footprint there. But we're talking about the development of people and the generation coming up and how there's a lot of work to be done and not a lot of people to do the work and not a lot of desire. Really, with what we're seeing on that to be a pursuit in life. But man, I'll tell you what, it's worked out really well for me. It's worked out really well for you, and the opportunities are only growing. What does it look like for you with this upcoming generation and the direction that the pipeline industry itself is heading? What can we do to make an impact? And what's the go-to for you looking at this generation? Like, hey, come do this thing because it's really special.
Yeah, man, that is a great big question. You know what I've found, and what I'm still learning this every single day, right? Generationally, it is very different, and I mentioned when we were talking before. You know, we hear all the time that the younger generation doesn't get it, and it dawned on me. Well, no, they do. We don't. We have to be a little more flexible, a little more pliable, be able to and adaptable, and honestly, we have to learn to communicate. And what I've noticed, and you hit it earlier, we have to connect.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be glamorous. Our job is not glamorous. You know, most times we are not the public favorite when we're working in the neighborhoods. But when we're done, if we do it right, and they never see us, we did our jobs properly, which is kind of cool. What I've found though, and what we're really trying to practice, and my approach is just honestly, it comes back to that human connection and getting the younger guys to understand the guys that I have the privilege of getting to deal with. I do care. I want to show you a path forward. You don't know what you're capable of yet. You don't know what this industry can do for you or what impact you can have on the industry. So let's roadmap this, even if it's at a high level and it's a long term. Obviously, I was very different as a young man, and now is more important than long term. I don't want to talk about 30 years. I want to talk about 30 days, what we're going to have there. And being able to just kind of convey that message, really, that, you know, I do go a little old school with how I teach is, you know, you're going to get out of this what you put into it. I will pour everything I've got into you, but if your cup's full, you know, that's on you. I can help you get there, but I can't do it for you. But what I've seen is that there's a big gap in mentorship and really taking time. It goes back to that connection that I mentioned, man. If you don't have that connection, you can talk all day. what are they hearing, right? And getting that point across to say, like I mentioned it earlier, this is my career. I didn't know I was going to be doing this. This is not something I dreamt about. This is not something that was ever on my radar.
Mhm.
I could be teaching high school in Nebraska right now, and how boring would that be?
Right.
But I would not trade this for a minute, because at the end of the day, I still kind of get to teach.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
and
most definitely.
I'm 33 years into this, and God willing, I've got another, I don't know, 17, 18, 19 in me. You know, I love what I do. I love the fact we get to have an impact on current generation, even helping the guys that have, I'm an old timer now, but even my group that have been with me for years, watching them get it and evolve and change and understand that you got to circle around. It's different. It's not the school of hard knocks anymore. There are the hard knocks, but the approach has to be a little different. It has to be individualized, and got to be a little creative, which I think the younger generation is starting to appreciate.
I could not agree more. You know, I think about the culture I grew up in, very cowboy, very pride driven, cutthroat. I can tell you, I don't know how many times I've been hit with a backhoe bucket and you know, a load of dirt was dumped on my head with rocks in it on purpose. And like, you know, we know the cowboy stuff, but you know what? It doesn't, this generation might be a little bit smarter than us because we tolerated it and they won't. You know, are we really out of touch with the generation today, or are they just more in tune with what's possible, like worldwide? They don't have to tolerate some of the stuff we did. I didn't have a choice, but I worked or I starved. You know,
Yeah.
I had to work to provide for myself from a fairly decently young age, and that was just the choices that I had, which I'm grateful for.
Mhm.
It's not quite that way today. There's a little bit more ability to survive without having to go put in hours every day, and like the world we live in today is different than when you grew up and when I grew up. But the reality is, it's always been that way. There's always been evolution, and I think the advancement of technology is probably one of the biggest. So I was a teenager when I got a cell phone, and like you talked about the old Nextel phone. That was my first cell phone at 16. The internet was kind of a thing, but no one had the internet really until I was a little bit older, and it's that .com era started something that
Yeah.
today now is going 100x what it was then. But I think the reality is, for the last 20 years, information has been at our fingertips at all times, and we know what's out there more now than ever with advertising, with just the advancement of the way we consume information. But it used to be these really slow rolled commercials that you go to the bathroom when they came on, and like in between movies, whatever it would be, you didn't really care about what was on the commercial. Well, now you can't avoid it because everyone's promoting differently now. I think the toleration of, you know, that cutthroat leadership is just not there. But also, guys like us that came up through that, the best leaders I've ever met have nothing to do with that type of leadership. They lead the way they lead because they went through that hell and don't want to repeat it. So I imagine someone like yourself, Mike, that's an approach that you take because it's the personal interaction first. Like, hey, I can see you on a human level. Let's talk about your personal life. Then let's go to the professional side. It's really how that person's like passion, desire, and dream fits inside your organization, and what role you have. And then figuring that out, it's like firing gasoline when you do, because you care about them as an individual first. They will care about the company and do it the right way afterward. Someone just coming in for the paycheck, if you don't care about them, they're not going to care about what they're doing. So the pride in their work and all that's going to go to the side. They're probably going to be there a short time and then gone. And that's where the safety concerns come in and everything else goes downhill. So that challenge that we have today, man, it's not really a problem. It's just a really, really big puzzle because we're doing it better, I believe.
I agree with that 1,000%, and you hit it. That should be the coin. It's not the challenge; it's the puzzle. We're just
Mhm.
trying to figure out what the ultimate picture is and how many pieces there are. We don't even know that part yet.
Yeah.
Um, but you also said it, like, I mean, you hit gold, bro. You hit gold. The best leaders I had, and I've had some I had really good fortune of having some really good, strong leaders. Some of them were very old school, very hardcore. I mean, just circa 1960s pipeliners, these guys were just badasses. They weren't the best mentors. They were damn good bosses, right? The mentors in the same era, same company, are the guys that spoke the same message, but could say it so differently that it struck you. One of my favorite mentors, God rest him, Johnny Souls. The way that man spoke was like, I don't want to disappoint you. That man didn't raise his voice. He didn't curse you. He never threatened you. He would give you a look. He would remind me of my father, who I lost very young. He would breathe through his nose super, super hard. And it's like, shit, I'm in trouble. And he would say something, and then he would thank you. Wait a second. Hold on. You're upset with me right now, and you're thanking me?
Uh-huh.
And now I'm like, heart's breaking, and again, when I was young, I did come up in the cowboy days, and I was a bit of a cowboy for quite a while. I'm not going to go very deep on a podcast because my boys will hold it against me, and I would too. But we did some dumb stuff. I did say, I had some guys that were good bosses, and I always, as you come up in the organization and as you grow in your career, and I'm sure you can relate, I want to do this. I don't want to act like that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I thought when I made foreman, you're supposed to scream. You're supposed to hard time. You're supposed to not say thank you. Fort Dodge, Iowa. I had a 42-year-old union career laborer tell me that he was going to hit me, and his plan was to hit me in the back of the head with a shovel. Sitting at lunch. I'm 22 years old. At the time, I think I was the youngest foreman in the company. I was pretty proud of that. Giant ego. Couldn't tell it all. My head was this big. And I looked at him, and I thought he was kidding. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he says, no, seriously. I have kids older than you. Who are you to think you can talk to me this way? And I'm like, and it dawned on me like right there. I'm like, what do you mean? That's what foremen are supposed to do. And he's like, nah, kid, it's not. And the three of us had dinner that night. Turns out my fuser was in the same exact boat. Like, these guys were gonna like harm me. And sitting there, I'm just like, well, one, I could take you both, but I had to throw it out there to them. But when they explained it, we had this great conversation that night, and I sat there and I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep the entire night. And again, I'm 22. I already know everything, right? And I came in the next day, and I'm like, we're gonna do something different. I'm gonna give you guys a shot. I'm gonna trust you. We were so jam up after that, and it was like, it's dawning on me. 6 months, we finished my first project, and I'm just like, my God, this is easy. This is not as hard as it looks. This is not as challenging as I'm making this. And that was the early trigger to, hang on, I don't like getting talked to like that. I never liked it. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
Why would I do that to somebody else? And then, I did have a conscience, though, albeit I was far less aware of it at 22 through, I don't know, 30-ish something, some days, But as that really kind of came into light, and you stop, and as you get older, and I say this to my younger group all the time, when you get older, you will reflect. And when you stop, you're like, man, I didn't even like that conversation because I feel like I had to raise my voice, and now I feel bad. And like, I don't want to feel bad, right? And guys do something goofy today, and we've got to have a conversation where I have to get involved. And we call it some of the boys call it the principal's office. They got to go to daddy's office, or they got to go to the principal's office. And that is not my terminology. That is a repeat.
Right.
And they'll come in, and I'll just sit there and listen, and I just give them the same shit-eating grin I've always got. Like, and what did we learn? And are we going to have to do this again?
Yep.
And don't make me the messenger, man. Like, come on, work with me here.
Yeah.
And I've still got, there's still a couple of them that are just, they don't want to talk. And then majority of that group, though, once you connect, you hit it on the head. I don't want to be a boss. Boss is like a bad word, and we never knew that.
Yeah. No, and that's all we knew, right? We expected to be yelled at, regardless if we did good or bad. It didn't matter.
Exactly.
And then there was also the one that would take all the credit for what he didn't do that you did. You know,
Yeah.
we've seen all these different types of personalities. I can tell you right now, as you're speaking that message, I'm sitting here thinking about me at 22, my first project at 22 years old, as a young foreman. If you don't like this speed, you won't like the next one, was the end result. I'm sitting there and I am going, but I'm belittling the crew. Friday afternoon, snowstorm moving in. We have a bore we're in the middle of. We're trying to get a bore done, tie in the line because like it's 35 degrees and it's going to be 10 degrees in about 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
Snow's starting to come down at like we're 3 hours from home. You know where I'm at. Like we're trying to get this thing done. And I am going at the crew, not doing enough. Do this, do that. Same thing. An older tenured gentleman that was a laborer. He'd been in the industry probably longer than I've been alive, and he told me about it often. And he said, you know, I'm sitting there and I'm going at him hard. And I pushed way past what was borderline, that had been done for me, right? And he shuts off a vac trailer, walks up to me, and I just got done yelling at him, telling him what to do. And he comes up and he's 5'6", 150 pounds soaking wet, right? I'm 6'3", 240. He comes up and he's poking me in the chest. The guy, I'm going to tell you, if you don't like this speed, you won't like the next one. Let me do my fucking job. Why don't you just leave us alone and let us get this done so we can go home? I was speechless, Mike, because to this day, that was the best lesson in leadership I'd ever learned. And
Right?
what happened, I didn't even say a word, nodded my head, and I walked away from him. The next day or the next week, I started to communicate. I started to talk about everything that we were doing. I didn't expect anything I didn't deliver with clear communication.
Mhm.
Instead of everyone falling asleep on the way to the job site, we talked about what we were going to do. I included them on the tie-in plan. I included them on the layout, the mapping of the job. Everything I did, I showed them what I was doing, why, and then asked their perspective on it. They might not have known which way the map was supposed to be going. They might have had it upside down. I would still get their point of view. And I'll tell you what else it did. Because I was willing to listen, just listen a little bit, I learned a lot from people that didn't know that much about the industry because they ask questions that are hard to answer, that are not logical. They don't know enough about it to ask maybe the right questions. And so, as a byproduct of them desiring to learn, I actually found a lot of ways to get better as a leader.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
amazing. If you don't like this speed, you won't like the next one. 22-year-old man.
That's a
I've
fantastic
led with
line.
that story so many times.
That's a fantastic line too. I mean, that's just that is yeah, I love that. And what you created was buy-in with your crew by getting them involved.
Yeah.
And I didn't learn that till later, um, with some larger crews, and it was we're doing this, and then you would hear the welder, "Why are we tying in this way?" And I'm, just get the tie-in done, man. We've got the plan; it's approved, it's signed. We need to go. And he's like, "Well, yeah, but why didn't you ask me?" You know, I don't have a good answer for that. You know what? Fair point. Let's get this one taken care of. We've got 10 more. Let's sit down tonight and have a beer, and everybody let's look at the plans.
Yep.
And the minute we started doing that, the buy-in was different, the product was different, the productivity was different, and it's like, wait a second, did we just create ownership?
Yeah. And
Wow.
true
Like,
respect, right? Like crew continuity, it comes from respect, a feedback loop that's open, and then someone brings you something, you listen. I think listening is part of the biggest constraint we have in communication in general. You know, can you be open without reservation and honest in what you deliver back? We're not here to make people feel good. We're here to help them out. And making them feel good, honestly, a lot of the time ends up making them fail. Because if you're not,
yeah,
and like you said earlier, being direct and transparent doesn't mean you have to say everything. You have to understand the temperature of the room, but you got to deliver the message in a way. First, it's got to be a learning lesson and I think it has to be delivered in a positive manner. So the outcome's always going to be good if you deliver the good message. If you're always delivering a negative message, you're never going to have a good outcome. If you don't believe it can be good, it won't be good. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're probably going to be right. Henry Ford said it best. So
yes.
knowing that being the case, deliver the message with good intention of learning, and then have it, the outcome of that learning lesson be good, and view it that way and lead that way. You won't have too many bad outcomes regardless of what actually happens.
No. And you've also probably already got at least 2 contingency plans in place because you discussed them. And you're right. Again, I mean, you've got gold going on this conversation. If this is something I have been working on for years, and I will humbly admit I am not good at it. Active listening does not mean waiting to speak or giving you the solution. There's a lot of times, and God bless my wife, because I still try to I'm just going to fix it. This is the answer you wanted, right? And I'll get a look. And then I realized at work I'd do it, and like my field leadership will just look at me like, "Why did you say that? Well, weren't you guys looking for the response?" And I'm like, "No, we were bouncing it off of you." Oh, so it's kind of that twofold. We listen, but how much do we listen? Because part of that, and we talked about this earlier, we were just kind of hashing around, right? We're in an ego industry, and the sooner we can admit that at all levels, um, it's easier once it's identified, and we can just own it and say, yeah, you know what, got to speak to this gentleman one way, I got to speak to Jacob another way, I got to speak to Clint another way. But doing so, if we have the conversations, we're humble about our conversations, and I have no bones about it. I'm at the point in my career, I'm at the point in my life where I would rather just be humble and completely vulnerable. I know very little. You said it great earlier. What was it? As the island expands, so does your shoreline.
As the as the island of my knowledge grows, so does the shore of my ignorance.
Yeah, that is fantastic, right? So, I don't know what I don't know, but you know what? We've got a lot of really smart people here. I get to interact with a lot of really smart people, far smarter than me. That we can have some great conversations, and if I'm vulnerable enough to ask a question because I'm uncertain of something, which generally takes, that's what really starts to build the trust.
Mm-hmm.
You show some vulnerability, and this goes back to the original question with the younger generation, that I don't know it all. I don't have all the answers. I can't tell you what to do. I can help. I'm willing to help. However, I don't know what we're going to do yet. So we really need to come up with a plan. I think that might be one of the secret ingredients to the listening piece, is if we can listen humbly and not necessarily have to have the answer. I've got a couple of my gentlemen that I love dearly. They've got an answer for everything. They know it. They're great about it. And a lot of times, by God, they're right.
Yeah.
A lot of times, by God, they're not.
Yeah. It's so interesting because you think about that scenario. You always have the answer. You're always problem solving, and everyone always comes to you. What the hell would you want that to always be the case for? Like, you think about expansion of that. Vulnerability is you admitting that you don't know something, right? And so many people perceive that as weakness, but that's actual strength to me, because I don't know this thing and I'm okay. I am confident enough to say I don't know it and look you in the eye and say, you know what? I'm good with that, because I don't know that much, and that's okay. But I'm always learning. I'm always gravitating to this obsession, this pursuit that I have. But not knowing something is just par for the course. Expecting to know everything is, like, by definition, delusion to me. And you think about, if you were always the person to have all the answers, that's all you're ever going to do, is be that problem solver, that in run. I try to be ignorant and not answer. If I know the answer, that's one thing. I'm not going to answer the question, though. I'll kind of be that last one to speak. I'll ask questions to the person asking me a question in return, and I'll put it back in their court, and I'll let them problem solve through me asking the questions. Because ultimately, them learning how to problem solve, by whether it's the engagement, it gives them the confidence from you that says, all right, they believe in me enough that they're asking me questions. They might not know the answer. Regardless if you do or you don't, they don't know when they ask that, and you return the question back. So you give them the floor to think. That in itself is powerful. You say, I am not that smart. I'm relying on you to answer this question. And then it's just this subtle moment of, like, shift. They believe in me. They think I can answer it. Instead of them breathing down my neck and expecting me to always go to them, they're allowing me to think, take ownership in something. So then that's what starts it. And then they figure out the problem and then they grow. And then you continue that cycle. A lot of time people just need to know that it's okay to fail. And I think, you know, I asked my daughter the other day, I said, baby, you know, she had a situation at school and she basically failed a spelling test and then she does good. She's too smart for her own good sometimes, right? So she doesn't apply herself as much. Well, she got one grade that wasn't good and then come back and just crushed them like 90, 100% on all of them because she applied herself after. But I said, you know, your daddy's lost more than he's won in life. And I was like, I probably lost more than the majority of the people that I know. I have lost so many times in my life. But guess what? Who loses more, losers or winners? And I was like, winners actually lose more because they don't ever stop. They continue to learn from that loss and then they keep on going until they win. Losers quit and they quit and then they won't commit to something new. So they accept the loss, but I win or I learn with the loss. So I look at win or learn. It's never an actual loss unless I quit. And unless I'm dead, I can't. It's against my nature to ever quit. As long as you don't quit, Mike, the results are inevitable if you just don't quit.
Yeah.
They can't be
And
stopped.
it's having the discipline to see it through though. Because the other thing that information's at our fingertips, you mentioned it. Instant gratification is at our fingertips, and we are conditioned to expect instant results, and things that take time can only take time. You know, I never learned the lesson that, you know, time had to teach me. You know, and I'm still learning those lessons. And your same approach that you mentioned, I have to add on to that. A while back, I actually adapted the Roosevelt quote: "Coming to me with a problem without a solution is whining."
Yep.
So if you come to me with that problem, pitch me your solution. Let's talk through that.
Yes.
And that's you know, you ever have that one foreman where he's very good, but the knock is he just won't make a decision.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the field leadership stage, like, I just won't make a decision. Well,
Yep.
why is that?
Poor leadership to them. Right? They were never allowed
He
to.
won't? He won't, or is he not empowered because you're answering the questions for
Yep.
him?
Well, think about
Guilty.
it. He never was shown that it's okay to do that, to fail. And
Yeah.
you know, you look at
Guilty.
anyone on our pipeline that is not doing the thing they're supposed to do, it's a direct result from me not providing the resources they need or they shouldn't be in the seat. I always look at process and then the person. Like, what is the process that they follow to get the result? Is the process right? Is it broken? Is there something that they missed with the process? And then if the process is right and everything's good there, then address the person. But it's normally a process issue before it's an actual personnel issue. What's the training look like? What's the protocol? Was it repeated in like appropriate cadence? These things are pretty obvious on the surface. But if we don't care enough to provide the extra resource and training on a certain cadence, why should they be expected or held to a standard in which you're not applying it to them? It's almost that way across all leadership. If you expect it, you have to inspect it. And you can't just
100%.
expect something that you don't do anything with.
Yeah. No, that's gold.
Let's transition real quick because this is something that me and you have so much in common that it was eerie the first time we talked. The physical pursuit. The Iron and Infrastructure podcast, the Iron and Infrastructure LLC, was started because of the iron for me, heavy equipment with I grew up track hose, bulldozers, like I ran heavy equipment. I have a video of myself on a 490 John Deere at 5 years old. My little feet are barely able to, like, they're dangling, and I am operating a full-size hoe at 5 by myself, digging a hole, and you can see it. It was a meant to be thing from a very, very young age. 13-year-old me, fat, made fun of, getting bullied for being overweight, hated who I was. So I turned to the iron, started weightlifting, started dieting at like freshman year in high school. Started early, thankful for it today. It's such a blessing that it happened. That's the iron that built my infrastructure. I'm iron built, dude. That's through and through what it is. And when we were talking, I started talking about waking up early, like 3 a.m. wake up call. And you start smiling like you just did there. You're like, yeah, I can relate because X, Y, and Z. The physical pursuit. I have never slept in for 2 extra hours and felt better than I would have getting my ass up and going to the gym for 2 hours or going and exercising for 2 hours. You cannot think your way out of overthinking, but you can go to the gym and get any bad mood mitigated pretty quickly. So, Mike, let's talk fitness, all things for you. What has it done for you as far as your career goes? Because I think this is the biggest misconception or biggest undervalued thing as far as what has the discipline and fitness done for you in your career path? This episode of the Iron and Infrastructure Podcast is brought to you by R&R Pipeline Inc., an infrastructure company. Join our team today at rrpipelineinc.com.
Oh, another great question. Honestly, my stress went away. I don't have stress. That is not tongue in cheek. I don't have stress. It relit a fire in me to, if I can take care of myself, I can take care of everybody else. I wasn't taking care of myself for a number of years, but I was still trying to take care of everybody else. And I wasn't, if you're not committed to yourself, you can't commit to anyone else. That's just my belief, for what it's worth. That's just my philosophy.
100%
So
agree.
I really had to reevaluate. Kind of, I wasn't in a bad place, but the change I've made in the last 4 years, it is not by coincidence that the discipline that I reestablished within myself and the boundaries that came along with that discipline and the freedom that it has opened up, that it has made it better, not only at home, but and professionally, my relationships are stronger. Um, the patience, believe it or not, for what was considered a very impatient person, I've got patience for days. Take your time. You know, I there's so many layers to that. It's my reset button,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know I forgot I had it, and it's medically proven. You know that working out, whether you're pumping like I used to, and I know you love, or running like I do now. It's not even the dopamine, but it's the you work the stressors out naturally. Your body is healing itself. It's resetting the mind. What really got my attention noticeably, the first measurable, was my focus went from trying to multitask. I've got my cloud. I know it can do these things. I can Eisenhower this. I can do important, urgent, unimportant, not urgent. Razor sharp. I can get through my list. I have my these must be done. I have my non-negotiables. Okay, I've got time I can make now for X, Y, and Z to apply back to these young managers they need some help. They need some support. I've got my tenured managers that they're not getting any love because, well, you know what? They do a great job. They don't need it. Yes, they do. They need that time. It's my customer. All my customers. Do you call them enough? I feel like I do. You didn't. Call them more. It opened up so many new avenues that I knew were there. I don't know how to explain it. I knew they were there. I just wasn't traveling them. And it kind of goes back to the kind of the mindset I was in at the time. Like, I'm doing enough. I'm doing enough. I am a hard-headed sumbitch. I can admit it.
Same.
When it got into, and I'm also uber competitive, like we talked, right? So when I first started kind of running, it was just like, hey, this is something I want to try to do. This is something I think that can be beneficial to my health. I think long game, I need to be able to be here for my wife and my kids, and I need to be able to be here for the people who depend on me. I need to be able to be here for me. And then the running turned into, well, now you know what? Now I feel like I have to start running races. Now I have to start, setting these insane, milestones that I want to hit. Which I hit a bunch of them, had a couple bumps and bruises along the way, but it kind of goes back to my weightlifting days. Like, I want to be able to do X over my body weight in each one of these lifts, and it doesn't mean I want to do them tomorrow, but I really want to hit it by the end of the year, or I want to be able to hit this milestone by 6 months from today, this is what it'll take to get there. And I really took the same approach, but it translates the fitness side to the professional side to the pertinent personal side. Only if I was to give advice, I try not to do that. I like my opinion, sure. If you don't give yourself some time as a person, you're giving it away. And you only get so much of it.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually you're going to realize that looking back, man, I really wish I could have worked more. Who's going to say that? I was on the path to say that, but I can tell you right now, 3:45 every morning, except for today I slept in a little bit, a little late, 4:20. Those feet are hitting the pavement, and we're going to get 5 to 10 miles guaranteed Monday through Friday.
You know, when you have a standard that you live by that's non-negotiable, your presence is felt by what you do, not what you say. I don't have to say a lot of what I do. It's out there publicly now, it's on social media, but I live by a certain standard that cannot be denied based on how I show up, what time my alarm clock goes off, and I set it and I forget it. I wake up. I don't negotiate with myself.
Yep.
I have what I call the standards of greatness. My 5 standards: no snooze, physical output, mental input, track and attack, gratitude and preparation. I live by them every day. My day does not have a day that doesn't have some sort of involvement there. Physical output, mental inputs, 10 minutes. 10 minutes a day, though, Mike, is 60 hours in a year. So that compound effect, the delayed gratification. Here's the one thing about fitness for me that I always relate to. It doesn't lie. 45 pounds is always going to be 45 pounds, and you cannot egotistically tell someone what you can or can't do, because the weight is the weight, and it doesn't lie. And I think the translation of that reality check every day, knowing that no matter how hard I work today, I can't go achieve what I want physically. If I need to go on a weight loss journey like Mike did, we'll get to it here in a minute, but if I want to lose 110 pounds, I can't do it tomorrow. It's physically impossible. It's going to take a long time to do it because it took me a long time to gain it. You cannot lie to yourself about losing that weight in that short time. Knowing, though, I'm here and I want to get there, and I have to be persistent with getting to there, but I have to be patient with the result because I can't control the outcome in the time I want to. My life motto is persistent patience. I am persistent in my pursuit. I am a fucking dog, Mike. I am relentless, absolutely all the time, relentless, obsessed. But I am patient now with the outcome because I know if my persistence is the only thing that's leading it and not having the patience with the outcome, I'm going to screw that outcome up sometime. I'm going to create a fire that's unnecessary, a problem that doesn't need to be there. But the delayed gratification part of the weightlifting journey is absolutely the key translation for me to business. It's going to be hard no matter what you do. Choose your hard. Do you want to be overweight and unhealthy, or do you want to live life by design? I started in the ditch. $9 an hour with a shovel in my hand in the ditch. Now I live life by design. So from the ditch to design, now I understand what it looks like. And when you have that ability to see delayed gratification go through and through from start to finish so many times, you expect it to be hard and you expect to take time. It doesn't make it harder because you're not seeing that coming. And then if I want to go run 8 miles today, I'm going to blow a knee out by mile probably 3 if my lungs make it that long. I know that. So I'm not going to go try to run with you, Mike. I know better. There's also that reality check. Are you good enough to do this thing or not? You can't physically say, I'm going to go do this and I'm not capable of doing half of it. Your body is going to tell you the truth. And people say that you're selfish if you do this or do that. I think that you're selfish if you don't put you first. You have to be number one in your own life, because if you don't take care of you, first and foremost, nobody else is going to. But if you're not leading by example, then how are you going to lead at all and it actually work? You have to put yourself first. You have to take care of you to the best of your ability, and your body becomes your business card. How you show up is a direct correlation to how you treat yourself too. If you don't talk to yourself good, if we've all had that friend talks to you like shit, never shows up on time, always, forgets his wallet when it's time to meet up for beers, whatever, right? If you were that friend, like you're eventually going to quit hanging out with them. So why would you treat yourself that way?
Yeah.
But man, the fitness is such a key component to stress relief. I feel pressure. Yeah, sure, it's pressure, but I can handle the pressure. And back to tying it into the pipeline world, Mike, I'm pressure tested every day, but my welds are holding. I'm good.
Yes.
I can handle the pressure testing because I'm built for it. Like the buffalo running toward the storm, I'm not running from it. I'm running to it. I want to handle it on my terms. Fear is out there, dude. I see fear all the time, but I put my arm around it and say, "Come on with me. I'm in control." And I think
100%.
getting under the weight, going for that 8 mile run, and you're halfway from the house, and you're like, "Shit, this sucks." I'm in control though. I'm fearful and it hurts. I'm going to make it back, and that's what it is. You don't give yourself another out. I see so many correlations to it. I think that everyone, if they're not doing it, find what you're going to do consistently and just go for it. Start 5 minutes a day. Start very, very small and just commit to every day for a certain amount of time, 5 to 10 minutes a day, and that's it. Just stick with it. The consistency is the win.
That is absolute fact. That's how I started running. It was the walks just kept getting longer and taking longer, and I'm like, wow, the sun's coming up. Crap! At some point, I've got to actually get to the office. I need to speed this up. Well, I hate running, but I can give it a shot. But you hit it. You know, I wasn't going to go run 5 miles the first day. I went from one driveway to the next, and like, let's try that.
Nope.
Then the two driveways. Then it was a block,
Love it.
and it was only one street on the block. You know, and this is daily, and it was a buildup. It was, and it's still the challenge, man. Bro, I had the alarm clock went off inside the head today about mile 4. Like, man, you are tired. Your legs are you're tired. You inner voice, you know. I call my inner bitch. Went, you could walk the rest of the way. It's Friday.
Yeah.
No, not happening. The only way out of this is through it. We are running home, and now, brain, we're going to go ahead and kick it up a notch. We're getting on a pace the rest of the last 4 miles. Let's go.
Mike, I got a
We want to
confession.
get it over with.
We
Let's
talk
get it
about
over with.
vulnerability, right?
Yep.
I quit
Yep.
today. I can't tell you how many times. I quit for about 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I quit for 3 seconds in my head, and I never make it to 5. I do not allow myself to get past 5 seconds because I say, I have to be in control of that thought. This sucks. I want to stop. Keep going. The only way is through. Go.
Yeah.
I think Jocko says it, you know, when it comes to like, you're in this moment, just go. Just go.
Just go.
Don't be
Don't think,
indecisive.
just go.
Don't sit there and think about it. You know, if you're having a hard situation in life, you sit there and think about it. All you're doing is expanding the problem. Just go. What's the next step? One step in front of the other, and that's it. Don't worry about the end. Worry about the next step. Can't see the forest through the trees. You can see the next step. Though. That's all you need to see.
Go to the next tree.
Yep, that's it. And what you said is so powerful about running to the driveway, doing this. You know, if you struggle getting out of bed and you want to wake up an hour and a half earlier, just wake up 5 minutes earlier for a week, and then do it 5 minutes earlier. Eventually, it would be an unconscious thought. But trying to jump all the way in is the reason that you're failing, because you're setting yourself up for failure. Trying to go all in and crash diet and do this or do that, it's not sustainable. It never was. It never will be.
No. That's why there's a million different variations of the diets and the fads and the workouts and and it's okay. They work if you stick with them. And it's similar, right? I was the big kid. I was the fat kid for quite a while. Caught a little hell, turned into a bit of a demon when I was young. You know, I had to do the same thing. Hit the weight room. What I do? Got bigger, got meaner. You know, it didn't get me anything in trouble, but I learned a lot too. I learned like, wait a minute, didn't quite think that, you know, I'm worth a little more than people let on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I might be actually pretty good at this. And same thing in the pipeline world. You know, when I first got introduced to it, I might be okay at this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's hardcore. I'm down with hardcore. We talk a little trash to each other, but you know what? It's like anything else. It's how you approach it. And you know where I'm at right now, fitness wise. I'm 51 years old, and I didn't feel this good at 41. And I don't know that I felt this good at 35. And I tell you right now, I was a bigger dude at 35, but you can't catch me now. I'm just saying.
You know, I'm in the best shape of my life today, and it's only getting better, and I'm doing less as far as the
Right.
intensity. It's not about being maximal today, it's about being optimal. So it's
Yeah.
like the minimum effective dosage. What is the least amount of work I can do to get the most result at the end? I know what I want to do. And so getting there is the result that I want to have, right? So the standard that I live by, I can get there if I do this. But it doesn't mean I can do this and then I have to do extra. I just need to do this. And so for the longest time, because of trial and error, I learned the hard way. But now, because of that trial and error, now I'm like dialed in. It's so unconscious now. I just go do the thing. But it's
You
the
found the sweet
lifestyle.
spot though, right?
Uh-huh.
You found the sweet spot though.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Now I'm not
Yeah.
setting out this big. My business is my competition right now. I'm not doing a
Mhm.
powerlifting meet this year. I'm not doing anything. Bench pressing 450 pounds raw is on my to do list still. I got 435, and then I had a pec injury, but I will like bench 450 one day. It's just not going to be someday today or tomorrow, but
Doesn't have to
it's
be
on the
today.
list. It's just not my time for that.
Yeah.
Reevaluating what a win looks like sometimes is very powerful. My
Yeah.
goal was this, but I'm way down here. Like I'm all the way up here trying to figure this out, and my reality check is right here. But when I set that goal in place, where was I at with in my life? What was my personal and professional life look like? And was it really the right thing at the right time? And
Yes.
do I need to push through what I'm going through right now? Do I need to pull back and maybe pivot away to something else? So do you push through it 3 feet from goal? Do I just need to give it a little bit more? There are times you have to pivot. It's not quitting. I think it's new information acquired, new vision acquired, new thing that you look at and say, that's not really what I want to pursue. And it's where the logic meets emotion because it's so
Hmm.
hard to know the difference sometimes. Sometimes though, you just got to pivot and you got to go run instead of powerlift, right? And
Yeah.
it be okay. It's all right to do that.
Oh yeah. And embrace the change, right? Quote the song lyric, right? Authority zero. Every dead end is a chance to turn around.
Love it.
That is so simple, but so powerful when you stop and wait a second. Perspective. Never thought of that. I have to turn around. Well, no, it's an opportunity to turn around. It's I never thought I'd run a five. What was my 5:13 pace in a mile ever. I run. I'm not fast.
Pretty
And
damn fast.
in one half marathon, I ran four consecutive PRs and didn't even know I was doing it until the race was done. And I'm looking at the board, going, "No way, that can't be right." That wasn't the goal. It was a byproduct of I want to
Standard.
be able to complete this,
Hmm.
and in order to complete this, I have to do X, Y, and Z. And that same process, I think maybe probably relate to this to some degree. When we were young in our field in the industry, we had the same approach. It was probably very subconsciously that we were doing it. I know I want to go from a fuser to an operator. They're not just going to promote me tomorrow, even if I hound the shit out of them. I need to be able to show them, but I can't show them all in one day.
Hmm.
I'm going to have to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to have to do the dirty work and clean up all the messes and make sure all the equipment is fueled and greased for the operators and this, that, and the other, and get as much seat time as I can. So I know this is going to take a minute. But if I do it, it's probably going to happen. If I don't, I'm just going to sit here and wonder why they haven't promoted me to operator when they've never actually seen me near a machine. And looking back on that, I can say that that's how I got into operating equipment. And then it was, now I'm a foreman, and then it was okay. How do you take the next step? What does that map look like? I mean, when I made foreman, I didn't get a book
Yeah.
that that tells you this is how to be a foreman,
Mm.
this is how to be a general, this is how to be a super, this, and learning piling that all together, I remember we were just talking about this the other day, kind of side topic, but same. When my kids were born, greatest moment of my life, walking out of that hospital, putting them in that car seat, and looking at that car seat going, for real? You're not like the nurse. You're not coming home with us? Looking at my wife going, are we sure about this?
Uh-huh.
This is happening? And realizing right then and there, like, okay.
No more training wheels.
Yeah, okay, we're ripping the Band-Aid off, but here we have to do this. They have this is their needs. If my wife's got to do this. I got to support her. I need to be able to be there for her. I need to adjust everything. And I am not bitching about a minute of this. She's already done all the hard work. She's doing more hard work.
Yeah.
She's going to be sleep deprived. And you don't realize at the time. I think I like to say I did. I will get corrected on that, I'm sure. But it's the same thing. It applies to every facet of everything we do. Right? I mean, stop and think. I want to get done faster, and I've got to get this pipe in the ditch. It's got to be 3 foot deep. My spoil. You know what? We'll be done faster if you don't put your spoil back. Get it in. I don't care. Get it in. We got to get out of here. Well, if you're willing to make that shortcut there, what shortcut are you making personally?
Mm-hmm.
What shortcut are you willing to take in your own life that completely avoidable, that in the same vein can get you in trouble, can cause damage, can cause damage to yourself, but can cause damage to your relationships.
Yep.
And so many we get in such a mindset. We're a fast-paced environment, and I know you live this far greater than I do with all the things you've got going on, which I totally admire. We're in hyperspeed, but we can never be in a hurry. When we're in a hurry, corners get caught. That was John Wooden. You can be in a rush, but don't be in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a rush, you're doing it right and you're going quick. When you're in a hurry, you're caught in the corner. Something's going to go bad. This is going to end up in a bad way.
Never a good outcome. Never.
And to actually get to a goal, milestone, something that is meaningful to you, whether it's professional, personal, physical. Have a plan. What does it look like? How long are you willing to? What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to sacrifice to get the thing? You don't get the thing and get to keep everything else. Something has to give. What are you willing to say no to in order to make yourself say yes to this and make this a non-negotiable?
Mm-hmm.
Right? There is a reason, I'm pretty sure there's a reason that both of us picked 4 a.m. The world is asleep. The world is ours.
I drive down the highway every morning about 3:15 to 3:45. There is not really a soul on the road. The road less traveled is exactly what that is, right?
I go out and run on a state road that I wouldn't cross in daylight with a crosswalk right by my house on a bet, and I will go run in that road at 3:34 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
without a second thought, because I know I'm going to see probably 6 cars.
Yep.
And I know, and it's so, there's something that is also so calming about that, because it's so still.
Yeah.
And that's like the reward. You don't even know it's there, but you're getting it before the day even starts.
Yep. And that's the thing. You have done the hardest thing throughout your entire day, no matter what it is, before the sun comes up.
Yeah.
It's hard to lose when you do that every day. It's really hard to have a bad day. And even if you have a bad day, by the time you wake up at that same time the next day and you get done with it, you forgot about yesterday pretty quickly. It eliminates that bad mood.
1,000%, man. And it's my wife will tell you, the days I don't run, that I'm a charm bracelet. We've coined you're a real charm bracelet today. Did you go run this morning? Yeah,
oh man, is it that type of love for you, Mike?
She's like, you are. When I hurt my leg, she's like, how long is that gonna prevent you from running? I'm like, a few weeks. She's like,
we gotta find something for you to do.
Yeah, she's like, you were going to be a super charm bracelet for the next few weeks. Do you have any travel coming up? Do you have any travel coming up? Can we book some travel?
Yeah, charm bracelet. That's classic.
Yeah.
Figuring out what you want out of your life, dude, at the end of it. Like, if you think you're going to apply no discipline to your life and have freedom, you're going to be wildly disappointed. If you think it's going to happen quickly, you're also going to be disappointed. What you do in the dark always comes to light. It never fails. And to expect anything to be easy is delusional. But find me someone that has an easy life and true character, and I'll be damned if it exists, because I've never met a trust fund kid that had character or, had this really simple marshmallow cake life and just went, did nothing, and then had character at the end of it. Character from, the hardship that we went through and the ability to take that as victory and what we look at, the way we view it. We're not a victim because of what we went through. We've achieved victory because of what we went through. And the hero and the coward have the same message. They just applied it differently. One wants to
100%.
save the world from what they went through. The other one wants to hurt the world. You got to make your choice. But it's either victim or victory. And it starts with the mind. Always and forever will. And back to that perspective, dude. The lens in which we look at life is the lens in which we're going to approach life with. So if we approach it with constant stress, negativity, every failure and every setback in life outside of death is psychological. And it takes as long to get over it as we allow it to. It's on us. It always has been. So you got to look in the mirror and not look out the window. When you don't know what the problem or the solution is, and you're trying to, find the solution for the problem, and you're looking out the window trying to figure out why the world did it to you, why don't you look in the mirror and look at what really happened because you allowed it to. And no matter what, we have in life what we deserve, not what we desire.
Yeah.
If we desire to have more and we don't have it, we haven't earned it yet. So we got to get back to fucking work. And that's going to be the truth, I think, no matter what, because we have what we have earned, not what we desire. I desire to have this, but I haven't earned it yet. Back to that mindset. Anytime you don't think I can't do this thing yet, it's going to happen. I just haven't done it yet. Time has not allowed it to become a truth yet, but it will. It's just a matter of time, because I will not.
That's fact.
Right?
That is absolute fact.
Mike, dude, thank you. We've been on the horn for 2 hours already, and
Been a blast, man.
I hope that you are open to doing this more often. I think that this could be the kickstart to really giving back to that younger generation and showing them something just very different. I'm not trying to be better than anybody, just a little bit different in the approach. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. But I can promise you that the intent is there for the right reason. So, Mike, we didn't even get into half of what I want to talk about in all reality. So you're going to have to come back on the damn show. I'm not giving you an out.
It's guaranteed, bro. Anytime you want, I got you.
Mike,
Thank you for having me. I was an absolute. I thank you. I am absolutely honored to be on.
well, you're going to get the opportunity again and multiple from there on, because I tell you what, it's too good not to, man. I'm very fortunate that our paths crossed and we met because of what we do, but we're here because of who we are, like I started with. Mike, once again, thank you for joining me today. We'll have you back on here soon. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't take notes, go back and rewatch the show and take some damn notes, because this man has nothing but the utmost wisdom. Mike Pence, thanks for joining me today on the Iron Infrastructure Podcast.
Thank you very much.
Stop telling yourself one day. It isn't about one day, it's about day one. Today should be your day one. What you need isn't another day. What you need is clarity with the community to give you confidence to unlock your greatness. That's what the group coaching program is all about. Confidence, clarity, via commitment. Hit the show link in the notes. Let's start unlocking your greatness now, today.